Okay, this is an unusual one. I did a video on this 2 months ago, I think, and this is definitely not my average kind of video because this one was, remember, from the old video. The condenser was from an 80s, what was the name of that? Mercedes-Benz. The condenser came out of Mercedes-Benz. The receiver dryer came from one of the big RVs, or a MACK. It was a MACK truck. Some big truck, but also fit an RV, and it was wrong, so he used that off of that. All the hoses are custom. The engine and compressor been sitting in his garage for 20 years. The compressor, that compressor came off another vehicle more than 20 years ago. It's been sitting in his garage for 20 years. Then the evaporator case came out of an old GM van that he had. And you can see I have my temperature sensor in there. And sitting here at idle, 48, 49 degrees. When the idle goes up, it goes down to 38, 39. It got down as low as 37 degrees when the idle's up. So when you're driving down the road, this thing gets down to 37 degrees. So of course there's no charge quantity on this thing, and so that's a low side switch. This is for like an accumulator, not for, it won't work on this one because I'm pretty sure this is your only low side port right there.
And it's got a straighter valve.
The pressure will be too low. You cannot control a expansion valve type system with a low side pressure switch. You got to use a thermostat. You have to get one of those old-fashioned thermostats with the little pig wire to sit in the screen.
That switch is no good then.
The switch is good,
Well,
but you could wire one of those little pigtail thermostats.
For the fan, but I still need to.
You know the little things they're
like the thing I bought for the Mustang, it was only $30.
Exactly, one of those. It says made in Mexico with a little probe.
That was a thermostat.
And you'll wire it in series with one of the power wires. And so we're going to get the made in Mexico little thermostat and wire that in series. And as you can see, it's freezing up a little bit there. He has no thermostat. It's just on or off. And so I told him he had to get a thermostat for this thing. So you'd say, how did I come up with the charge? I just looked at it. I have no low side. So I can't keep you see my gauge is off, nothing's connected there, nothing is connected there. Because as soon as I filled it up, as soon as the high pressure goes up, it would fill my lines with high pressure refrigerant. I can't have that. So then I turned it right side up and pumped a little vapor to push the liquid out into the system before starting the vehicle. And so I was guesstimating somewhere about 1.5 pounds to 1 pound 12 ounces. And so what I did was I put 1.5 pounds in there while the vehicle was cold. It's been on the vacuum pump overnight. And remember, this was under nitrogen pressure test for 2 months sitting there, and it was fine.
The temperature's not even halfway.
Right.
The temperature hasn't hardly moved with the air conditioning on. See that fan pulls pretty good.
Yeah, I feel that. I can feel it blowing out from here. That fan does really good. And
really good.
So what I decided to do, I got 1 pound 11 ounces in there. With 1 pound 11 ounces without using no gauges, just my hands, this is what I got. Just a little bit. A tiny amount, a little bit of bubbles every now and then. Just a tiny amount of bubbles. Remember, you don't use a sight glass to determine whether you're full or not, especially 134. And
my custom weld job right there. Number 10.
Yeah, right there.
Number 10.
Oh, that's a custom weld job, making an 8 work to a 10. And when I
press them inside each other, I cut them in half and press them together before I welded them.
So this is the compressor discharge line going into the compressor right here.
Yeah.
So I put my hand and I grab this with my fingers, and I could say this is about 150, about 150, 160 psi right now on the high side.
Good.
By the temperature. And then On the discharge,
It's hardly hot at all. It's not even hot.
it's about 100 on the discharge line without using these, just my fingers, because I use my fingers first. On the discharge line, it's about 100 and say 20 degrees on the discharge line. So we got about a 50 degree, almost a 50 degree drop, 40, 50 degree drop through the evaporator. This is just using my hand and experience. Then on the suction line, we know we're under 32 on the suction line. We got ice building up on the suction line. Under low RPMs, we got 48 coming out the dash, and it goes down to 38 degrees, 37 degrees when the RPM's up and when it's moving. So this is all guesstimation. No science, not using pressure or anything like that, because I only have high side. The low side is messed up. I can't tap into it. So this is right off the bat guessing and stopping right there and letting it go. All right. All this was used for was drawing vacuum and putting in the refrigerants. It wasn't used for taking any pressures at all whatsoever. It was all done by hand and just experience. That's it. He'll drive it when it gets hot this summer. I'll come back and check it, and maybe I'll repair that low side at that time if we need to do some refrigerant adjustment. I'll pull the refrigerant out, replace that suction side service valve right there so I could get a suction side pressure, because I would like to. That's about it. All right, guys, this is a beast of many years, makes and models of an air conditioning system. I kind of like when I hear the guys who are in the Caribbean islands or in the Middle East or down in South America or something, or India. They tell me this is how they do air conditioning. They put systems together with different cars and parts, and so you just guess, you make it work. But the idea is that if you could get 100,000 miles out of a system like this, you're doing good. All right, see ya.